Okay, so I got another figure to open up for you today. This is going to be Kobra Khan. Let me make sure that the video is playing correctly. And go to turn down the volume. Yep, I'm up. Okay, so yeah, got Kobra Khan to open up for you today, and let's see, where did I put them? Yeah, here we go. So I've got here's the original Kobra Khan. This is the vintage one, so we can get a look at that. Rouge Haunts is here and says hello, hello, right back at you. So yeah, so there's the original Kobra Khan, and for those of you who don't remember, you could take off his head, fill him up with water, and then it was kind of like a perfume mister. He could spit water at you. So and so he was supposed to spray the other figures with a mist so he could control their minds. And then there's the Origins figure, which had a head that looked just like that one, but didn't actually squirt water. But I wanted something a little more fancy, so I 3D printed this head, and I think it looks pretty awesome. I painted it to look about as close to the original version of the head as I could. I do not have the Masters Universe Classics version, which is part of the reason I'm excited about this guy. And I think he might actually even be better than the Classics version in some ways. I don't know because I don't have the Classics version, but we'll go ahead and open him up, see what he see how he looks. But he's got a lot of cool accessories. He's got like you see the Cobra hood. He's got a mace. He's got pincers that you can swap out for his hands as an homage to a foreign figure, I think from South America someplace, that is often called Camo Con. Rouge Haunts asks, how are you doing today? Well, I'm here. I'm about to open up this action figure, so I'm going to have a fun time for a little bit. So, oh, and there's tape on the sides. I'm not used to that. So we get this tape on the sides. And the artwork's really nice on here. We've got Kobra Khan with his hood flared out and his ray gun. And there's a Tongue Lasher and Ratlore. So I'm guessing they're planning on making more Snake Men. And then the little bio on the back, the little line of bio is the destruction of New Eternia. New Eternia was destroyed, awakened a long slumbering evil as Kobra Khan heralds the return of the Snake Men. And then, like I said, he's got the, they give him a little plastic piece to represent the spitting. He's got the ray gun. He's got like the mace, like I said. He's got like a little breastplate that goes in the middle. So I'm interested to see how that works. I think it's like 2 different breastplates that swap out, so you can give him a plain chest, again, like the original figure had, just a plain chest, but Camo Con had a Snake Man emblem on his chest, and we can see this guy has a Snake Man emblem on his chest here, and the mace, and it says to open, so our extra accessories should be over here. Let's go ahead and open that up. And, oh, there's a bunch of stuff in here. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to dump it on my desk. And then I'll hold it up and show you. So there is the flared Cobra hood, which is a separate piece. And then, sorry, I got these. Let's get this together. So I've got as little garbage lying around here as possible. It's cluttered enough without garbage. And we got these pincers. And the pincers are actually kind of articulated. I don't know if these are reused from the Clawful figure they already did or not, but it wouldn't surprise me. And then, yeah, the little tiny breastplate, so you can swap them out and make them plain old Kobra Khan. Kobra Khan's an interesting case because when he originally was created, he was a part of the Evil Warriors faction. But once they came up with the Snake Men faction, they're like, well, he's a Snake Man. Shouldn't he be with the Snake Men? So he wound up joining the Snake Men. And I think like it was one of those things where he'd go back and forth. He might have been a liaison. Because it wasn't like with the Horde where the Evil Warriors were enemies with the Snake Men. They seemed to have kind of a loose sort of truce thing going on. Like, not quite an alliance, but they'd work together sometimes, and they didn't work against each other necessarily. But, you know, with a guy like King Hiss and a guy like Skeletor, you know that they're gonna, you know that they're gonna clash. So, one thing that's interesting about this figure is you can see that he's got like a slight metallic sheen to his skin, which, again, if we look at the Origins figure or the original Kobra Khan figure, those were just kind of like a plain olive drab color. But this guy's actually got like a little bit of metallicness to him. Now, Camo Khan, the foreign figure I was talking about, that one obviously you might guess from the name had a camouflage sort of look. So you know what I don't see in here? Oh, here it is. There we go. I thought I was missing it. So first of all, talking about his accessories, there's the Venom spray, and it just plugs into a little hole in his mouth. And the hole in the mouth, I think, actually looks kind of cool because, like, it seems like he would have, like, you know, like an orifice in the mouth that would spit out the venom. And then the accessories he comes with the mace, which Camo Khan was the one that came with a mace because I guess he couldn't hold the blaster that the original Kobra Khan came with. So they gave him a mace because that was made to be held by Clawful. And then the blaster, which was, I think, Zodak's blaster in orange. But this one is an original design. It's got like a snake head on it. You can still see it's kind of based off of Zodak's blaster. It's still pretty similar to that. And then the hood for the Cobra. And that should kind of snap onto the back of the head, I think. I'm trying to figure out how this goes. Ah, okay. So there's a little plate here in the back of his head. You remove that, and you can stick this on there. There's a little slot that it plugs into. So there he is with his full Cobra hood up. And I always wished that the original figure had one of these, but unfortunately did not. And then the breastplate seems like it's in there good and tight. So, but I got it out. And then you can put in this plain breastplate so it looks a little bit more like the original figure, whichever one you prefer to have. So, but he looks cool with the mace and the blaster. I really like the mace because, you know, I like for my Masters Universe characters to have a little bit more of that barbarian sort of aesthetic. So a mace to me is a more appropriate weapon for that milieu than a blaster. But I'm not complaining about the blaster. He does have these bracers, and these should actually be removable. So let's go ahead and we'll mess around with the hands some. The original Kobra Khan figure, as you saw, did not have any bracers. He had the same arms as Skeletor, but if you take off the bracers, you'll see that he's got more fin-like arms, kind of more similar to what Skeletor had. So we're just going to take off the hands for a second, and we're going to replace them with the pincers. And that didn't quite want to go in there. Come on. Come on. And it's interesting how, like, the metallic skin, it kind of ends at those fins, and you see it just becomes kind of a dark, flat olive drab. But then it becomes metallic again at the pincers, where they're kind of almost like a golden color. So you can see the larger part of the pincer actually is the part that is disjointed, and I just knocked his hood off. And I guess since I got him with the pincers, I should probably swap him back to the Snake Men emblem on his chest. And we'll go ahead and put the or Buzz Off. Didn't they do I don't have them, but I think they did a Masterverse Buzz Off. They could have reused these pincers from that. But most of the other parts of him, other than, like, you know, some common parts like the thighs and everything, those are probably reused. But he's got, I think those are new shin guards. I think these are new feet, even though they could have just reused Skeletor's shin guards and feet. I don't think anybody would have complained. Obviously, a new torso. These shoulders, again, might be shared with Buzz Off. He might have that same sort of thing going on. Grant G is here, and he says, wow, he turned out fantastic. And I certainly agree. So I'm going to put the hood back on him since I got him all put together in his Camo Con mode. But yeah, that's a highly sought-after figure with collectors. They love Camo Con. I always thought the pincers were kind of weird because he's already a snake man. Does he need to be like a snake and a lobster or a crab or whatever? And since I've got the hood flared out, I'll go ahead and put the Venom back in there. So he turned out pretty nicely. I'm pretty happy with how this this one was executed. I'm going to take all this stuff off of him now, and we're going to talk about the articulation some. And to do that, I'm also going to swap out the pincers for the hands again. That way, you know, I probably should have put the blaster in the other hand because I realized this one's just a gripping hand, and this one's a gripping hand with a trigger finger on it. So even though it doesn't really have like a trigger guard, it would probably look a little more natural holding a gun, wouldn't it? So there we go. Yeah, that's probably how I'm going to do that going forward. I wasn't really thinking about it at the time. So, but I think if we put, wow, so the hands go on there a little more loosely than the pincers. They seem to have a more narrow peg. So if you leave the pincers on there for a while, it's probably going to stretch out the holes and no jokes. And you might not want to leave it like that. Grant G has the Origins Camo Con. Wow, that's really cool. I just have the regular Origins one. And even then, I never saw him in the store. I bought him secondhand on eBay and never did an unboxing video for him because I got him loose. But then, like I said, I made him a new head because I thought it would look cool. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the articulation some. I'm going to put this plate back in his head. And that plate does seem like it kind of fits in there kind of loosely. So do be careful with that you don't lose it. So you can see that he has an articulated jaw, which I love that. So we're going to talk about that first. And it looks like it opens up about that far. We get like a nice big gaping snake mouth. So probably so you can bite somebody in the head or something. Kobra Khan can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, but not a whole lot. Rotate the head all the way around. Does have a very thick neck. The arms, of course, see the hands came out. So try to hit that with a hairdryer later. So the arms rotate all the way around the shoulders. But yeah, those are really loosely in there now. I don't think they were in there that loosely to begin with. So I think the claws just kind of stretched them out a little bit. And then he's got, I'm going to take the hand out so I don't drop it. He's got a bicep swivel, so the bicep rotates all around. He's got double jointed elbows, which don't seem to extend all the way. They always seem like they're a little bit bent. So we'll see if we can get it to... He's very muscle bound, like these figures usually are. But it seems like that elbow is stuck. So that's definitely one I want to hit with a hairdryer later. But for whatever reason, yeah, like the other forearm, the joint at the forearm where it meets the elbow joint is stuck. So I'm just going to have to hit that with a hairdryer later. So the wrists rotate all the way around. We already saw they were removable. And they've got a horizontal hinge on them, which came out. Again, this is just like a really narrow pin, even for like, you know, it. I mean, here, let's compare. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera as well, but can you see how much thicker the pin is? Like this one, like the head of the pin is wider, but this one, like the whole pin is thicker. So I'm going to try to hit that with a hairdryer or maybe even dip it in some boiling water later and see if I can get it to stay in there a little bit better. Otherwise, I might have to try some kind of trick with like some paint or some glue, you know, dab a little bit on there and let it dry up and see if that'll hold it. But we're just going to have to be careful with it for now. In fact, I'm going to pull his hands out now since I'm not really... This one says an okay. But it might just be mine that's doing that. So anyway, he's got the cool sort of Masterverse torso articulation, so you can bend back and forth that way, bend back that way, bend forward that way. Of course, rotates all the way around where the rib cage meets the abs, and rotates all the way around where the abs meet the belt. So there we go. Kobra Khan can kick up about that far like he's a freaking rocket. It's that's some good leg articulation. He can do the splits no problem. It does have a drop down, which I'm not used to seeing on Origins, so that's kind of new to me. So that's nice. He's got a thigh cut, so the thigh rotates all the way around. He's got double jointed knees, which hopefully aren't as fused as those elbows. There we go. That's about the range of motion you get at the knee, so that's good. He's got a boot cut, so he rotates all the way around where the boot meets the calf, and then the foot rotates all the way around where the foot meets the ankle, and it can point up about that far, point down about that far, and that's pretty much it for the articulation. Pretty typical Masterverse articulation, but a few little improvements there with the drop down hips and everything. Like taking some notes from G.I. Joe, I see. And by the way, we're going to have a lot more G.I. Joe coming up, because I've got just like a ton of G.I. Joe stuff to open, like a crazy amount of G.I. Joe stuff to open. And we still got more Masters of the Universe. We still got a lot of cool things. So Kobra can't talk. Kobra Khan is a pretty great figure, and he's got like really good paint applications. I really like this metallic green. That's like the base for most of the figure. It's an interesting choice, and I think it works. It makes him pop really well. And so the plastic is a good shade of plastic. The paint is a good shade of paint. He does have, wow, this is cool. I hadn't noticed before. His eyes are kind of like a separate piece embedded in there. It's molded in this translucent plastic. So it makes it look a little more sort of glossy. I like that. That looks cool. So a lot of great accessories with this figure. A lot of great features. A lot of great display options. He'd probably be one that might be worth buying multiples of, just so you'd have different ways to display him. I'm going to put the bracers back on him for the thumbnail. I'm going to have him in the thumbnail with the Snake Man emblem on his chest and the hood. And we'll have him holding both of his weapons. And I'll go ahead and put the spray in his mouth too. And that'll be the image that I take for the thumbnail. But he turned out really cool. Like I said, my one complaint is that it seems like these hands don't want to stay in there too well. So, but hopefully I can, if I can soften them up a little bit, then I can get them to stick in there a little bit better. And these little pieces, these little plates, like the plate that's going to go in the back of his head and the little bitty breastplate, those are things that I'm worried could get lost. So I'm just going to have to put them in a baggie or something when I put them in the parts bin. So I'm going to display them with the hood and with the Snake Man emblem. But, I might buy a second one at some point and have them displayed both ways. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Kobra Khan. Another figure that I think fits in well with the Halloween theme, if he's not specifically a Halloween character. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Kobra Khan. YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe, so I like to say like and subscribe. Hit the little bell if that's still a thing. If there's a hype button, hit the hype button. I don't really know what the hype button is. But anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Next episode, I will be back with something even more Halloweenish whenever that episode is. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.